Hi everyone, it's Juno here and welcome to another Potato Time. Today, I want to dive into a film that stirred up quite a bit controversy back in the day, Lost Caution. Back in 2007, Lost Caution premiered in Shanghai, China, bagging top honors at 3 major film festivals worldwide. But here's the kicker. When it hit theaters in China, it got chopped by 13-minute studio, adult content, and just like that, it became one of China's most enigmatic and talk about films. After 17 years, we can still see discussions about movie, mostly centered around the erotic scenes and the whole censorship incident. As someone who grew up in China, my initial take on this movie was all about explicit scenes. But diving deeper, I discovered something surprising. Lost Caution isn't just about this, it's the Anne Lee's adaptation of a novel by Zhang Ailing from the last century. And the original didn't focus on sex scenes at all. This got me thinking, why did Anne Lee take this direction? How does it depict these scenes? And from a gender and societal perspective, is it a successful move? To break it down, let's focus on the first steamic encounter in the film, which also happens to be the most controversial. So here's the background of the story. It's set during World War II, with Japan occupying several Chinese cities. Enter our protagonist, Chachi Wang, a college student who decides to join her patriotic friends in plotting to assassinate a pro-Japanese collaborator, Mr. Yi. Wang disguises herself as a wealthy woman, Mrs. Mai, to infiltrate Yi's circle, gain his wife's trust, and seduce him into a romantic relationship. The heat between Yi and Wang escalates with 3 sex scenes, and the first one is where things get dicey. Yi already suspects Wang's intentions. Wang, trying to seduce him, undresses and removes the cigarette from his mouth. But Yi gets aggressive, grabbing her by the neck. Despite his violence, Wang maintains control. The scene depicts Yi's violent outbursts in detail, emphasizing Wang's pain and struggle, highlighting the power imbalance. After Yi leaves, the camera lingers on Wang's face, capturing her smile. This scene makes many people, including me, feel uncomfortable. While Wang initially seems willing, it's evident that she didn't anticipate Yi's violence, nor could she resist it. His action is rape, in my opinion. Depicting unequal sex is very common in popular media, but for this movie, is it good or bad that Anne Lee added this scene? The formal elements of the scene, like camera angles or shots, objectify the female character. From the arrangement of the scenes, the film portrays Wang as alternating between seduction and pain, with subtle details like a faint smile at the end, implying a blurred attitude towards Yi's sexual violence. While reviewing comments on the film, I found that many people perceive Wang's performance in the sex scene as a mix of shock, pain, and enjoyment, which I disagree with. So I believe that these scenes tends to align with male imagination, beautifying unequal sexual violence, and potentially conveying the notion that such non-consensual sex is acceptable. Maybe we can't read too much into the scene, but the later part of the movie, where Yi and Wang's relationship heats up, kinda confirms the romanticization of the sexual violence and the unequal love in the scene. Regarding Anne Lee's defense against the criticism of the scene, he links it and other sex scenes with themes of colonialism and imperialism. This approach, termed symbolic rape, prompts the question of whether the audience truly grasps the intended meanings of these sexual scenes. According to Sturkin and Cartwright, viewers aren't passive recipients of media messages. They interpret based on personal experiences and cultural context, but they are still constrained by dominant cultural meanings. Before mainstream culture started caring about gender perspective, it was all about sexual shame and traditional rape culture. According to Rubin's sexual value system, some stuff in the scene falls into the outer limits. Yi and Wang ain't exactly a couple, they are both married to other people, and that's got people thinking Wang ain't a sympathetic character in this relationship, so An Lee's original intentions might have gotten twisted in the eyes of the audience. And from what I've seen, discussions around the film mostly revolve around the actresses' bodies and sex rather than its deeper themes. Some argue that Wang and Yi's relationship challenges traditional values and represents sexual liberation. But let's not forget, Wang is not exactly signing up for this willingly. She sacrificed herself for nationalism and politics, not out of free will. The story is all about the instrumentalization of the female body. The original novel by Zhang Ailin contains no direct sexual encounters between Wang and Yi, nor does it imply Yi's romantic interest in Wang. Wang doesn't end up killing Yi, but helps him escape from danger, showing she's fed up with patriarchal role and chooses her own desires over national narratives. But then Yi still escalated her. The original story highlights Wang's useless resistance against the objectification of the female body. In the film, the inclusion of numerous violent sexual scenes, emphasizing Yi's love to Wang and hating that Wang's enjoyment in the relationship, contradicts the spirit of the original work. Thompson argues that the use of symbolic rape in the film further underscores the objectification of women within nationalist narratives. In narratives featuring symbolic rape, individual wrongdoing is excused by societal figures. He believes that Zhang Ailin would not approve of these sexual scenes being added. In my view, the film takes shortcuts by simplifying the depiction of women's everyday struggles from the original work. Instead, it uses superficial depictions of sexual violence to capture attention and highlight a character's internal conflicts between desire and her mission. This is a lazy approach. After the movie dropped, the Chinese government banned it, and the Chinese actress Tang Wei, who played Chachi Wang in the movie, faced censored from the screen and condemnation, getting blacklisted for a few years. Lost Caution, both on and off screen, highlights women being shackled by unequal sexual norms and objectified. Using symbolic scenes to encapsulate bigger themes is a large move in media production, and sex can also be a way to delve into deep stuff. But I can't agree with An Lee's placement of explicit sex scenes. The emphasis on sexual violence and the male gaze. It distorts the spirits of Zhang Ailin's original work and, more importantly, exploits women when showing scenes of their being exploited. Using sex as a selling point, displaying harmful sexual values. It's not progressive, it's regressive. But hey, this is my take. What do you think? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. And that's today's Jutato time. If you liked my video, please subscribe to my channel. Bye!